And our economy has created a record 5.6 million jobs since I became president on January 20th. There's a lot we can be proud of and a lot we can build on for the future. But we still face challenges in our economy. Disruptions related to the pandemic have caused challenges in our supply chain, which have sparked concern about shortages and contributed to higher prices. Moms and dads are worried, asking, will there be enough food we can afford to buy for the holidays? Will we be able to get Christmas presents to the kids on time? And if so, will they cost me an arm and a leg? I told you before that we're going to take action on these problems. That's exactly what we're doing. It's important to maintain perspective about where our economy stands today. The fact is, America has a lot to be proud of. We're experiencing the strongest economic recovery in the world. Even after accounting for inflation, our economy is bigger and our families have more money in their pockets than they did before the pandemic. And America is the only major economy in the world that can say that. It's testament to the grit and determination of the American people, as well as our unique approach to this recovery and our focus on rebuilding our economy from the bottom up and the middle out, not the top down. Because of that approach, we're the only leading economy in the world where household income and the economy as a whole are stronger than they were before the pandemic hit. Let me close with this. This Thanksgiving, we have so much to be grateful for. Vaccines that are effective, safe, and free, promising new treatments, providing for hope that we can bring an end to the worst tragedies of this crisis. Record job growth, the strongest recovery in the world, and most of all, the chance to be together again with the people we love on Thanksgiving. As you gather together with your family this Thanksgiving, I want you to know how grateful I am to serve as your president. And I promised you that I'll never stop working to address your family's needs. And together we're going to confront challenges that we face them, are going to face them honestly. And that will keep building this economy around hardworking folks who built this country. Happy Thanksgiving, God bless you, and may God protect our troops. And I'm heading to a food kitchen to serve meals right now. Thank you for your time and effort. And I'll have plenty of time to talk to you later. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. For too long, we have failed to invest properly in our people. Instead, we have allowed big corporations and the wealthy to access all the resources this nation has to offer without paying their fair share. That stops now. The Build Back Better Act delivers a once-in-a-generation investment to lower the everyday costs that burden working families: healthcare, housing, childcare, education, and more. It is transformational. President Biden was elected. Some people in the press say he wasn't elected to be a transformational president, but everything in this bill that is transformational, he campaigned on. This is a campaign fulfillment, campaign promise fulfillment. The improvements are true for Americans around the country and for New Yorkers. The bill will dramatically cut healthcare costs for New Yorkers by finally allowing Medicare to directly negotiate drug prices, by capping out-of-pocket prescription costs for seniors, and perhaps most importantly, by setting a $35 a month cap on life-saving insulin. No longer will New Yorkers have to choose between buying their medication or paying their rent. No longer will they have to ration insulin. Sufferers of type 1 diabetes ration insulin. They put their lives at risk because the cost of insulin has gone from $30 a vial to $300 a vial. And this will cap it at $35. The bill also represents the largest expansion of the Affordable Care Act in a decade, making sure more people can access quality, affordable health insurance when and where they need it. While we have more work to do on affordable housing, the Build Back Better Act finally provides excuse me. The Build Back Better Act finally provides desperately needed funding for NYCHA, and expands rental assistance to help New Yorkers find and keep safe, affordable, and healthy housing. Thousands of housing units in New York will be constructed or rehabilitated. The bill also puts money back in the pockets of working families by addressing the unfair SALT deduction caps, which have increased taxes for New York and threaten the state's ability to provide high-quality benefits to those who need them most, and lowers taxes for nearly 1 million New Yorkers. And let me say one other thing about the SALT tax. The purpose of the Trump administration and the conservatives in capping SALT at $10,000 was precisely to make it more expensive for states to provide social services for their people. It's precisely to stop liberal progressive measures. And by doing what we're doing on SALT, this will not help the rich people in particular. This will help middle-class people, and this will help states be able to afford to provide social services for their people. For the millions of working families in New York, this bill provides real relief by expanding universal pre-K, by dramatically expanding child care subsidies, and increasing the supply of safe, quality, affordable child care centers around New York. The average New York family with 2 young children currently spends nearly a quarter of its yearly income on child care. This bill ensures these families will pay no more than 7% of their income on high-quality child care. The bill addresses climate change head-on. Through the Build Back Better Act, greenhouse gas emissions will be reduced by more than 50%. We will invest in infrastructure resiliency, and we will develop a civilian climate corps modeled on FDR's Civilian Conservation Corps, creating 21st century good-paying jobs for New Yorkers. Simply stated, the Build Back Better Act unlocks the full potential of New York families. Thanks to Chairman Jeffries and Chairwoman Velasquez and nearly every single House Democrat, we are one step closer to making this transformational change a reality. I urge the Senate to pass this bill as soon as possible so we can start making these historic investments in the city, in its future, and in the people of the United States. Thank you very much. And I now have the honor of introducing the chairman of the Investigation and Oversight Committee, the chairwoman, Carolyn Maloney.
Thank you.
Now you've heard from all of us, and this is simple. Folks, this is very simple. It's the basic fundamentals of the economy. When President Biden on day one came in and shut down that pipeline, the Keystone XL pipeline, that reduced our supply, and then he halted the leases on oil and gas. Then he turns around and he looks at Russia and OPEC and says, come save us. Please come and fill that void for us. That's how we got here. We are all trying to give you a winter forecast. And to my knowledge, none of us are meteorologists. So the winter forecast that we're giving you is devastation. When you look at these numbers of propane up 54%, heating oil up 43%, natural gas up 30%, this is a forecast of disaster. And as Americans are bracing for these higher prices, the Democrats are doubling down on their efforts to totally shut down American energy production. Thank you for being here, and thank you for listening to all of us.
Happy to take some questions.